What must we do once we become aware of an omen? All right, that is the question for today. That is the question for number 89 on the list of the 144 fractal faculties of the Tree of Life. If you'd like to polish up your Tree of Life understanding, just click the link, just watch my video called Tree of Life and Introduction. It should get you up to speed. It's, I think, a 10-minute video. And you can also click the link in the description if you'd like to get a free copy of my kind of abstract listing of all 144 fractal faculties. That way, as you watch my videos, you can have that thing in front of you and you can compare and contrast, and you can micromanage, and you can see the whole thing, have the gestalt of, having it all in front of you. So just click the link in the description. Now, today we're looking at number 89 on the Tree of Life. And now just recall, the Tree of Life is a map of our consciousness, more or less. And each one of these circles or spheres is an aspect of our consciousness, or a component of our consciousness, that a faculty of our consciousness, an ability of our consciousness. And for today, for number 89, we're looking at the abyss right here. This is one of our 12 fractal faculties, the 10 circles plus the abyss plus the 0. So we're centered in the abyss, and the abyss is our faculty of our psychic powers. Okay, so that is our ability of consciousness at the abyss, our psychic powers, which is pretty much boils down to our magnetic charges, or omens. So an omen is a synchronicity, a deja vu, an anomalous situation, a recurring name or number or theme that is outside of the boundaries or outside of the realm of, probability. It's highly improbable that such a thing would happen, to the point where it makes an impression on you as, boy, that was really weird. Oh wow, what are the odds of that? Where you ask yourself, you recognize that's really a crazy omen. Now, we do have a tendency to kind of, I think it's because we're not good at math in general as a society, and so we have a tendency to create omens when there really aren't any. To think that something is very anomalous where it really isn't. And I'm not sure what the threshold is, but if you have something where it's like just a 1 in 10 chance, I would not say that qualifies as an omen. Just if you say, oh well, I got up at 1 o'clock and then I turned on the television and the first thing I saw was 1. That's, to me, that's not enough. Now, if you said I got up at 1 o'clock or 1:03, and then I turned on the TV and it said 1:03, that is closer to being at the threshold of improbability. Okay, now, so anyway, there are 2 components to our psychic powers. One is psychic heat and one is psychic receptivity. The psychic receptivity comes first, and it is basically our ability to recognize the omen. And we talked about that in number 86, Nekabet, psychic receptivity. Today, we're talking about number 89, which is our ability to, once we do recognize the omen, are we able to act upon it? Because the omen will have a course of action outlined within it, something that we need to do to to kind of fulfill that omen. And that is a different matter. That's difficult because a lot of times it causes us to put ourselves out there, and we have to have courage. And that's why it corresponds to heat, because heat corresponds to courage. If we can get hot enough, then we don't have that kind of paralyzing fear. Okay, so all of that is kind of encapsulated into the abyss. Now, and the abyss is one of the 12 faculties of our consciousness. Now, to get from 12 faculties to 144 fractal faculties, what we're doing is we're taking the tree of life to the second power. And the way we do that is we take the whole tree and we shrink it down to the size of just one of the spheres, one of the 12, and we apply it to each one. So here's the ninth sphere. We break down the ninth sphere into the mini 10th sphere inside the ninth sphere, and the mini ninth sphere inside the ninth sphere, and the mini 8th sphere inside the ninth sphere. So basically, we're breaking down the ninth sphere into its 12 components, and we're breaking down the 7th sphere into its 12 components. And when we add all it up, we end up with 144 minor faculties or fractal faculties of the tree of life. Okay, so in the context of the abyss, we put the whole tree on the abyss, break it down to its 12 component parts. And number 89 actually corresponds to the 6th fractal of the abyss. Okay, so the sixth sphere inside the abyss sphere. And you may recall that the 6th sphere corresponds to our free will faculty. Our ability to, free will comes down to our ability to pay attention and our ability to make decisions. But unfortunately, normally our attention is directed downward on the tree toward our, our fallible human qualities here that we had opened up early in our life. And so what we have to do is we have to make the choice, the other half of free will, to turn our attention around and focus our attention on the higher aspects that we have in potential up here. And that requires courage, because instead of kind of looking at our comfort zone, now all of a sudden we are kind of looking into the unknown. And that's scary. That requires courage. And the same thing is going to be required here within the 6th sphere of the abyss, that we have to activate our courage. And so this is number 89, called uatchet, or psychic heat. Stage number 89 is about a lunar eclipse, which blocks the cooling influence of the moon. So there is enough heat remaining for the courage to act on the omen that was just received. The omen requires us to act in a certain way. And if we do, then we, the paramagnet, acquires the charge of the external field, the ferromagnet. The hot snake, the red snake, uatchet, the reaction to an omen, a synchronicity, etc., which is an external magnetic charge, which also carries with it a course of action. The omen is an invisible, hidden action, so the reaction to the omen actually looks like a spontaneous action to observers. It's kind of like you saw a ghost and you were acting upon the ghost. If you saw like Chuck Schumer in the Senate, when he saw the ghost, he was acting upon something, but nobody else saw what he was acting upon. The omen is a universal message to us to let us know that there is something important we should give our attention to. Once the omen, the ferromagnetic charge, arouses us, after we have just gotten the omen, we must smooth it over. by following up or aligning with it, by moving to the stronger part of the field, just like a paramagnet would. This requires a lot of courage because the action will require us to expose our vulnerability, to put ourselves out there for no discernible reason. The omen and the path of action are presented at once. To turn on our psychic powers, we must reprogram ourselves to act right away after recognizing the omen. Lunar eclipse, the hot red snake, uatchet, one half of the universal magnetism that makes up our psychic powers. We must have great courage to follow through on the act. So we must block out the moon, which cools us off until we are paralyzed by fear. Electromagnetism is part of our subtle body, including the material body as 3D gravity, the etheric body as 2D magnetism, the astral body as 1D electric, and the mental body as a zero-dimensional point. All right, that is number 89, the sixth fractal of the abyss. That is called uatchet, or psychic heat. And the uatchet and nekabet are the two serpents that are, weaving themselves on the tree, almost in the same way that the caduceus does on the staff of the medical associations. But that's part of the Egyptian iconography, and the uatchet is the psychic heat that corresponds to the lunar eclipse, whereas the nekabet is the psychic receptivity that corresponds to the solar eclipse, blocking out the sun to leave the coolness that's needed for the receptivity. So we need the coolness for the receptivity, but we need the heat for the action. Okay, now thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. Again, click the link in the description if you'd like me to send you that complete listing of the 144 fractal faculties for free. And also, if you'd like to donate to the greater project here, which has some great stuff in store, then just look for my Venmo or Cash App addresses listed in the description. Stay tuned for future videos on this series and in general on this channel. I'll be rolling out number 90 on this list here very soon, and hopefully we'll be able to put up a couple other videos slowly but surely. Most of my time is spent right now doing research for future videos, so we're still going kind of slow here, but at a certain point we're going to pick it up. I think probably once we get through these first 144 fractal faculties. And again, the reason why we're doing the Tree of Life stuff all first is because the Tree of Life serves at a foundation, so that once you get the Tree of Life, then you can really apply it to all of the other subjects, and it makes it much easier to learn the other subjects. And some of the subjects that we're going to be covering are quite difficult. But if you kind of understand the tree well enough to be, semi-fluent with it, it gives you a categorization scheme, a filing cabinet, so to speak, to place all of the other information so that you have it organized in your head. It's like a filing cabinet for your head. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.